In this video, we're going to work on the extra practice proof number 1 for lesson 5.3, and this is going to be on page 136 in your student journal. Okay. So we are on page 136 in your student journal, and in number 1, we have to prove that triangle ABD is congruent to triangle CBD. Now, when we're trying to prove triangles are congruent, we are going to be looking for our different triangle congruence theorems. In lesson 5.3, lesson 5.3 is also all about the side angle side congruence theorem. So this kind of gives us a hint that we're probably going to be using the side angle side congruence theorem to prove that these two triangles are congruent. So first, let's go ahead and put the givens in our proof and make sure they're labeled in our picture. So first, they tell us that line segment BD is perpendicular to line segment AC. And that is given. And you can see in the picture where this is. Line segment BD is perpendicular to line segment AC. And they've shown us that this angle is a right angle here. And that's what it means to be perpendicular. They also tell us that line segment AD is congruent to line segment CD. And we have that in the picture with those tick marks. So that's our second given. All right, and so now that we have some of our given statements in our proof, we are trying to find other congruent angles or sides in these two triangles. So first of all, let's go back to this statement. Line segment BD is perpendicular to line segment AC. That makes this angle, angle ADB, a right angle. I wonder if that will help us find some congruent angles. Well, one thing I notice is that these two angles are a linear pair. They make a straight line. So if this angle is a 90-degree angle, this angle also has to be 90 degrees because they form a linear pair, and we know that together they must add up to 180. So if one of them is 90 degrees, the other angle also has to be 90 degrees. Those are two congruent angles that we can now put in our proof. So this angle, angle ADB, is congruent to this angle. Now I need to make sure I name it properly. So if I look at the two triangles, angle C corresponds to angle A here. So if I put angle A first in my name here, I need to put C first in my angle name. So angle ADB is congruent to angle CDB. And we know that because they were a linear pair. And we had that linear pair perpendicular theorem, which just said if you have a linear pair, and this is a right angle, the other one also has to be a right angle. So linear pair will work. I'm just going to put in parentheses perpendicular theorem. Okay. All right, so we've got an angle that's congruent. So right now we have a side and an angle that are congruent in both triangles. We still need one more. So I'm looking at my picture, I'm asking myself, do I see any other sides or angles that I know are congruent? And one thing hopefully that stands out to you is that line segment BD is shared in both of these two triangles? Well, if they share that side, it means that that side is congruent to itself. So I'm going to put that in my proof. Line segment BD is congruent to itself. Line segment BD. That property that says something is equal or congruent to itself is the reflexive property. So now in my picture, I've got a side, an angle, and a side that are congruent in both triangles. So because of the side angle side theorem, which says if you have two sides and the included angle congruent to each other, the triangles must be congruent to each other. So we have now proven that triangle ABD is congruent to triangle CBD by the side angle side congruence theorem.